Hi guys, and welcome back to the Theory Lab. Now, we're going to continue our key construction concept and we come back to where we left off. So, we've left off discovering, in a very scientific way, might I say, that we have a major chord, at the moment a C major chord on the first of the C major key. Now, the cool thing about this is that C or not, so whatever this is, on the root, on the first of every major key, you're going to have a major chord. Now, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So hopefully you just understood the method by which we got to that, because the next ones are not so self-explanatory. We need to actually work them out properly. So let's just get straight down to it, shall we? We'll come straight back to the D. Okay, so let me just put that in there. So looking at the D, again, we need to work out, is this going to be a major chord, a minor chord, or a diminished chord? And of course, once again, just to re-establish, we must only use notes from this particular scale. Okay, so what I'm going to do again is just go through and do a major, a D major chord, a D minor chord, a D diminished chord, and we'll just see which one fits the best. Okay, obviously what we're looking for is something to do with these notes. So let's have a little look here. So we're going to start with the D major chord. Okay, so that equals, now if we remember our theory, it's the first, third and fifth of the D major scale, because we're doing a D now, not C, so a D major scale. So the first, third and fifth of D major, you now need to, in your head, know what the D major scale is. If you're unsure, then I would do it really quickly just on a piece of paper, okay? So for the purpose of this lesson, I'm just going to draw it in the corner here, just so we've got it in our heads, okay? So I'm going to do a little small version of it. So a D major scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp and D. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 1 again. That's a D major scale. Now, I've done that enough times to be able to quickly bosh that out like that, okay? I'm sure you were thoroughly impressed by the speed that I put that on the board. Now, I've done it a lot. That's why. Of course, you might want to take a bit more time over that. Make sure you get the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone correct. But of course, the key thing here is, this is our overriding key. But when we're working with D, we kind of need to know the D major scale, because we need to work out what chord's going to fit. So we're going to do a D major, a D minor, and a D diminished. Remember, D dim. Okay. So a D major is 1, 3, and 5. A D minor is 1 flat 3 and 5, and a D diminished is 1 flat 3 and flat 5. Okay. They're the formulas that we learned in the previous course. So let's have a look. The first of D is D, so we can fill that in on each one. Nice and easy, okay? The third of D is an F sharp, okay? And the fifth of D is A. So a D major chord is a D, F sharp and an A. Cool. A D minor chord, we need a flat third. So instead of F sharp, we're going to flatten that to become F, okay? And the A is the fifth again, okay? For a D diminished, we've got a flattened third again, so the F. And for the flattened 5, we're going to flatten the A to become A flat, okay? So let's look at what we've got and compare it to our scale. So D major chord. Will a D major chord fit here? It's got a D. Good. It's got an F sharp. No, so we cannot use this one. The F sharp simply does not fit into our scale and therefore will not work within the key. So we cannot use that one, okay? Let's look at the D minor. D, yes. F, yes. A, yes. Bingo. The D minor works perfectly, so it looks like, unless something happens here, which we'll look at in a second, that this is going to be a minor chord. Let's just check it. D diminished. The D works well, the F works well, but the A flat does not fit into our puzzle here. Okay, so no, that definitely doesn't work. You cannot fault that this is a scientific approach, and we're going to say, right, without a doubt, a D minor chord here, or let's just call it a minor chord here, M-I-N minus, minor, is going to fit perfectly within my key. So now I've got two chords in my key. The first one's major, the second one's minor. They're going to sound right together. They're going to sound like they're in the same key, okay? So there we have it. We've worked out the D, okay? And hopefully you can see how we worked out the D. So next up, what we're going to be looking at is the E. Okay, so the E, we need to know, is it major, minor, or diminished? So again, just for the purpose of this, I'm going to put an E major scale over here, just in the corner, okay? So again, I'm just going to put my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, and do an E major scale. So E major is E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. Okay, so there's an E major scale for us now. So this is now the scale we're looking at. Okay, so let's try and work out. So let's have a look at an E major chord. We're going to do an E minor chord and an E diminished. And we're going to see what one fits. Okay, so again, let's recap it. We got first, third, and fifth is major. First flat third and fifth is minor. And first flat third and flat fifth is diminished. So E major, we take the E is the third, the G sharp, sorry, E is the 1, the G sharp is the third, and the B is the fifth, okay? E minor, we have E as the first, the flat third, so G sharp flattened will just be G, and the fifth is going to be B, okay? Now for diminished, we have E, G, because it's a flattened third, and a flattened B is B flat. So I think you've already sussed this out, guys. You're starting to get to grips with this now. We can see that the E minor is going to fit because the E minor has the E, the G, and the B. Okay. The E major won't work because the G sharp doesn't fit. The E diminished won't work because the B flat doesn't fit. So this third chord has to be minor. Okay. That's the only one that will fit. So, another cool little thing which I just want to bring your attention to here is there's a second way to do this, okay? At the moment we're doing it very scientifically because we're just working out which one's which, okay? Now, we can actually see a pattern emerging because of course a chord is constructed using the first, third and fifth, so it skips the second and the fourth each time. So with the E, I already kind of knew in the back of my mind that if I just jumped across like this, so I went from the E to the G to the B, I know that it's going to be those three notes that are in my chord, okay? Because if you kind of start the scale on E and imagine that's the one, then you get 1, 3, and 5, okay? 1, 3, and 5, right? Then all I need to know at that point is it kind of gives me a chance to test myself and say, well, an E, a G, and a B, can I in my head work out which one it is, okay? Or alternatively, on the guitar. You can actually pick up the guitar, and this is something I've done with a lot of my students, and say, okay, I know that the chord is going to be an E, a G, and a B put together. So if I put those on the guitar and I say E, G, and B, and then I've gone, wait a second, that is definitely, by sound alone, that's a minor chord. I can hear that. Because if it was E, G sharp, and B, it sounds way more major. And it's like, okay, so we're actually using the ears now to also work out this stuff, okay? So what we're going to do with the next 1 and 2 is do it in the 2 different ways. So when we do the F and the G, we're going to do one way like this and one way like this, so that we can learn all kinds of different ways to be practicing this and making sure that we understand this. So for now, just make sure you get it up to here. So we've got a major, a minor, and a minor. Make sure you understand why we got there and how we got there. And next time, we'll do the F and the G.